Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel where we dive into the wildest, weirdest, and most wonderful things happening on the internet. And today, we've got a story that's part comedy, part philosophy, and 100% viral gold. It all starts with one of India's most well-known comedians, Tanmay Bhat. Now, if you've been on social media at all recently, especially X, formerly known as Twitter, you might have seen this job application form that just completely broke the internet. Tanmay Bhat, looking to hire for his team, decided to ditch the standard, boring questions like, "What are your strengths and weaknesses?" and instead went full-on philosophical guru. Imagine you're applying for a job. You're all ready to talk about your resume and your experience. And then you're hit with questions like, what is the meaning of life? I mean, seriously, how do you even begin to answer that in a job application? But it didn't stop there. The form was packed with these kinds of mind-bending prompts. Another one that got people talking was, what is the one thing you would change about the world? No pressure, right? Just solve all of humanity's problems before you even get an interview. The best part, people actually started filling it out. The responses were all over the place. From genuinely deep and thoughtful answers to hilarious, sarcastic replies that were just as funny as the questions themselves. The whole thing became a massive social media event. People were sharing screenshots of the form, posting their own hypothetical answers, and just having a good laugh at the absurdity of it all. It was a masterclass in engagement. The post exploded, getting millions of views, and for a few days, it felt like everyone online was trying to figure out the meaning of life. All thanks to Tanmay Bhat. It really makes you think about the whole hiring process. We're so used to these rigid, corporate-style applications that something this creative and out of the box just completely captivates everyone. It was less about finding a candidate and more about starting a global conversation, which is pretty brilliant when you think about it. Some people were joking, saying, this is the toughest job interview ever. Others were like, finally, a job application that wants to know who I really am. It sparked a debate, but in the most fun way possible. Is this the future of hiring? Probably not for an accountant, but for a creative team led by a comedian. It makes perfect sense if you want people who can think differently, who have a sense of humor, and who aren't afraid of a weird existential question. The form itself became a meme. People started creating their own versions of it for different professions. Imagine a philosophy job form for a dog walker. If a stick is thrown and no one is there to fetch it, does it make a sound? It just took on a life of its own, which is the hallmark of a truly great viral moment. It was organic, it was funny, and it got everyone talking. This whole thing really showcases Tanmay Bhat's genius, not just as a comedian, but as someone who just gets the internet. He knows how to create content that people want to interact with. It wasn't just a post. It was an experience. It was interactive. It was thought-provoking. And above all, it was hilarious. It's a classic example of how humor can cut through all the noise online and bring people together. So what's the big takeaway here? Besides the fact that we should all probably spend a little more time pondering the meaning of life. It's a reminder that creativity can come from anywhere, even a job application form. It was a simple idea, executed perfectly, and it gave us all a much-needed laugh. And who knows, maybe the person who had the best answer for the meaning of life actually got the job. Now, that would be a follow-up story worth waiting for. What do you guys think? What would your answer be to what is the meaning of life? In a job application, drop your philosophical and funny answers down in the comments below. I'd love to read what you come up with. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this little dive into internet culture, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one.